Hello and welcome to Universal Love Law. Today I'm going to be making a very in-depth video for y'all where we will be discussing life and passing over, what happens to the soul when it passes over. Also, I'm going to be talking about soul groups and the androgynous energy, okay? So, first and foremost, I want to let you all know that I remember a few of my past lives. I didn't need to get a regression. For those of you who do remember, kudos to you, but it's really challenging to remember. I think that you have to be a very right brain type of person, very creative and imaginary type of person, because and as a kid you have to have a very vivid imagination. Now all kids are not that way. Me, I used to have reoccurring places I would visit in my dreams, or reoccurring visions that I would feel how I felt, and the sensation, the senses. As I got older, these memories would get clearer to me, and I began to realize that some of these were past life experiences now. So yeah, I know from experience, and I've seen a lot of things in my life. Maybe on a private platform I will discuss these things, but I'm not going to talk about it on here. It's not the time or the place, okay, for me to talk about my personal experiences. But very briefly, I will let people know that I do have a past life memory of opting out and leaving early. And I'm not going to get into details of that, like I said, but I'm going to just talk about, what happens. And everyone's very different. So before I get into what happens when a person goes, I want to let everyone know that this information has been known for years. It's not just a new thing. I know a lot of people are waking up to it, but this information has always been around, and I feel very drawn to the information as a guide, as a teacher, as someone who wants to help people get clear pictures, and just having integrity in the work I do. I don't want to just be another channel that's like, being like other people. Like, I want to do it my way. I want to do in-depth research, and I want to bring forth my knowledge and experiences. And I use multiple cultures. I'm not just biased to black race or any of that. And I do want to clear up some things out there that people are saying that is very false, like white people do not have souls, and Caucasians and things like that. That is very not true. Now, I believe that all people do not have souls. I believe some out of the billions of people on the earth, there are some people that are literally like AI, or like not, they don't have souls, like I feel. But that's a different story for a different day. But when it comes to race, like, race does not matter. There's people that have been incarnated across races and all type of things. Your soul has no bias when it comes to reincarnations and incarnations, because the soul is here to learn. But I'll get more into that when I get into what happens, But like I was saying, when it comes to the information about life after death, this information has been proven from doctors, people with PhDs, the great Delores, Micheal Newton, even modern day past life regressors like Astro Einstein. There's a lot of people. You can actually look Astro Einstein up now. There's a lot of information, and watch his past life regressions, whereas the other ones, they were more case studies, because there were basically doctors that were doing regressions to help people like stop smoking cigarettes, or get to their childhood wounds with psychotherapy, right? Or putting a person under and put them in a beta state mind, and being able to walk with them as a guide as they go through their subconscious memories. Now, it was amazing when Doctors were able to have these patients go back past before they were born, and even way before, to many, many past lives. So this information has been proven time and time again. Like I say, you guys can look some of those names up. But for people like me, I remember my past lives. I remember the way it feels. So when your past lives are activated, or if you have had a past life regression, you remember the feeling. You know how you felt before you passed, or you know how you felt at that age. Okay, like I have one I will share is I have a very fond memory of being it's gonna be funny to people, but I was a woman, but I was like Native American, or like Latino or something. I lived in a hut that I made, and I remember this so strong because like certain times when I would go to big bodies of water, or when I go to very peaceful places, I would get this memory of, I was very little, short, round woman, not black. And I remember being very sad. My children had left and my husband had passed away. And I remember sweeping the floor, and it was hot, it was sunny, and I was in a hay kind of like shack that I made. It was my home. Well, I didn't make it, but it was my home. And I just remember being ready to go. I wanted to go. I didn't want to be here anymore. I was alone. My children had left me. My son had left me. My husband had left me. And I remember just looking out, like wanting to go. And that's a past life memory that was not bad, but I was very lonely. I was ready to get out of here. But anyways, have visions of your past life based on your age or where you were, okay, in that moment of time. But ultimately, in order to remember a lot of that memory of that past life, you have to go through a regression and really work on that. I feel like the ones that I remember were the ones I needed to remember in this lifetime, for me to get through, because my super subconscious mind allowed me to remember, and I believe my soul allowed me to come back and remember these few past lives to help me, because I know there were links to this past life. This current life. Excuse me. So when it comes to what happens when a soul passes over. So first and foremost, when the soul ejects from the soft spot, once they leave out of the top of their head, what connects them, right? What happens is they begin to, it depends on how they go. So however the person goes is going to be an impact on the soul, because there's an initial state of shock for the soul that just ascended out of its body. They feel lighter. They don't feel those feelings at first, though. Initially the soul will feel like I'm not here anymore. Some of them want to stay and watch over their body, stay with their body, and they will get guides coming to them. Their guides, hey, okay, it's about time to go, and they'll request, maybe I want to stay for a while. I cannot leave yet, right? I cannot leave, right? Some souls cannot leave, especially if the family is really sad about the person going. If the family is really, really sad about the person going, they will begin to hold that person there and hold the soul here. And that's why it's not good to do that, because even though the soul is not in a physical body, they still have the emotions, and they feel bad when they leave. So usually they'll stick around if family members are not taking it well. But if a soul is advanced and ready to just go, they will just immediately look for the light, or they'll immediately look for their guides. What is, known as a tunnel, right? A tunnel of light, a tunnel of color. The soul will decide to move forward. Now, if the soul does not move forward or chooses not to move forward, they can stay. They can watch their funeral and everything. It's really interesting how that happens. But, anyways, so after that, what happens is the soul will eventually get the nudge. Come on, let's go. We gotta go. We're not talking about earthbound souls. We're not talking about souls that get trapped here or stuck here. We're not talking about those souls. We're talking about the ones that cross over. 9 times out of 10, you're going to cross over unless you didn't do a lot of good in this lifetime. In that lifetime, then you could have to do some work in the astral realm. Or you might need a medium or someone to help you cross over. It's so much. But on a very basic, generic level, the soul looks towards its guides to go through the light. Now, if the person that did, pass away was passed away in a very hard way, negative way, or like a very traumatic way, then the soul will need to go to a special place where they are worked on, okay? Where they're worked on with very ascended souls that can help reconstruct the soul's composition, because some people, like, they may have gone out in a way where they or decapitated or something, like anything that deals with the body being dismembered of some sort. The soul doesn't go straight to the places it needs to go. It needs to be worked on. It needs its elements to be aligned, or not its elements, but its soul energy to be realigned, and it needs to be infused with soul energy as well, with energy from those people, those souls that do that, because there are souls that can work doing that can work by helping souls that have gone in a very traumatic way to realign, okay? So that they can move forward to the next stage. Now, let's say that didn't happen. Let's say the soul passed away in their sleep, or very quick, like an accident or something, just very quick, or they didn't even expect it, just boom, they're gone. So these souls, they may feel very angry about that, depending on their soul age, and if they're very young souls, or then they may be a little jaded about leaving, way they left. But if they're a little bit older, mature souls, they're going to be more like, okay, it was my time. Let me review. It's time for me to review. So that's ultimately what they do. They go to elders. They go to a council. They go to the ones that agreed on their life journey together. And they review their life, okay? Now, this has been recounted in many past life regressions, okay? Don't just take my word for it. Go do your research, right? Anyways, yeah, so these ascended souls, these elders, they've been around. They've had all the experiences. It's nothing new under the sun for them. So they want to help souls. That's what they agreed to. So they see where a soul is. Your soul cannot lie to them. They don't need you to do that. They just need you to be open and honest about your life and your lessons and what you learned and what you didn't learn. And if not, they do communicate telepathically, and they are very, very psychic. So they'll pick up on things, but they'll guide you from your strengths, not from your weaknesses. So they're very loving in that sense. They have like an unconditional love for souls, evolution, and so they play their role in their position. After that, the soul, depending on its age and everything like that, it will be guided towards this soul group, right? So I do need to go back because I didn't really get into detail about, going out early. So for the souls that do decide to go out early, well, what happens is right when they do it, they regret it. Right when they do it, they're like, it was not worth it. Why did I do that? Like, because your moods are ever changing. So, like, what you're going through, you will overcome. And when you opt out of the game by taking yourself out of life, you quit. Basically, it's just a immense amount of remorse that your soul group will feel for you, because they know you could have done it, and they know what's going to happen. They know that you're going to have to do it over. It's like a restart. You didn't quit forever. Like, you just restarted your game, and where you could have advanced, you actually added more weight to yourself. Okay, you added more experiences and more lessons to yourself, and now you have to. So this is from my experience. What happens when you do come back, when you go through all that it's not a punishment, but it's a lot of work that has to be done when a soul does that. When it comes to their soul guides and things like that, it's just a lot of work. Okay, it's a very serious thing. When they do come back, what happens is they replay out everything, even the pain that caused them to do that, because they have to face it and overcome it, even though they will be faced with the same feeling of wanting to do it again. And honestly, a lot of souls that do it once and twice and three, they keep doing it. When a soul keeps doing that, the soul will eventually may agree to coming in as like a where they can't do it. The soul does continue to do that. What will happen is they will be given a life where it will be very hard for them to do that. And the moment that they overcome it, they will eventually get it. They will get it right, and they will be rewarded for that. But the thing is, when a soul keeps doing that, the soul has to go to a certain place, because the alchemy of the soul is off. So we have these souls that work with souls that have very negative problems, like very bad problems, like very dark, problems, or souls that cannot stop taking themselves out of the game early, where they need to have their energy worked on. Okay, they need to get some of their energy to be transmuted, transcended. The council that's in charge of that space, where they work on souls that have problems like that. This place is for the dark, it's for the wounded, it's for the ones that have a lot of problems when it comes to reincarnations. They cannot keep coming back if they're doing this. And so what happens is there's a space where these souls can get their energy kind of alchemized, right? Turning silver to gold, where they're not going to take all the energy of the soul essence, even its more negative memories, but it will be transmuted with new energy of love, light, forgiveness, whatever it is that soul needs to overcome and stop doing that. But a lot of people want to know about it, like, they want to know about these things. So that's why I'm mentioning that today. It's never a good thing. It never goes away. When a person does that, it's just a temporary fix. But right when a soul does it, they are in huge regret. When they do see their guides, or they get moved towards the council, they are very remorseful and upset with what they did. It can torment the soul to continue to do that, because you're copping out. And the reset, when you come back, it has to be not the same specifically, right? But the lessons, the experience that caused the soul to do that, they will have to re-experience it again in a different way, with a different, in a new. And it's even worse because now it's like it's like it's like, how do I explain it? It's like that this pain is coming. Like, these people have very, very hard lives, and the ones that push through it and overcome it, they are greatly rewarded. They're given honor, and they're respected by their soulmates and soul group members. They're appreciated for that. They may even get some unlocked and hidden gifts, okay? So moving along to when the soul goes through the whole process, right, where they're meeting with their counsel, the elders, reviewing, life review. It looks like what a courtroom, like, right, where it's like as above, so below. You know, you go and it's this space where you got to review all the things you did or didn't do, and for your better, never for your worse, always for your soul to advance. Because the soul, you know, it's so much support in the astral realm when it comes to a soul's incarnations and reincarnations. So once my cup's so hot. So once the soul gets to its group, they're looking around, and then imagine this space that's endless, like it's vast, like it's no ending, okay? But when you really focus and pay attention, you'll start to remember, you'll see familiar faces. Now, some may be your parents, your aunts, your friend, uncles, grandmother, whatever, and you're like, hey, like, and they may or may not speak to you, right? Because everybody that you're born with is not all a part of your soul group. There are certain people in your soul group. The soul group is what they learn together. They learn their lessons together. So this is where I'm going to get into the whole soul group information, okay? So when the soul gets, you know, the guides, you know, they help them to move towards their soul group, and they realize, like, ooh, I cannot talk to these other groups. And it's not that they can't, it's just that they wouldn't, like, infringe upon another group, like, because that is their own soul group. And they feel this inner knowing, and they start to see familiar faces that are like friends. Like, imagine because we're all childlike in the space of the spirit realm. There is none of those stronger weight type of emotions. They're like, it's not dense emotions. It's light, it's fresh, it's free, it's friendship energy, okay? It's a group, okay? It's like your gang. So you see your gang, you see them, and they're like, oh my God. And then you're like, oh my God, like you're hugging, and you're not hugging because you don't have a physical form, but you're hugging because you have this, you know, your energies are morphing, like you're embracing each other. You guys it's like an immense joy. It's complete peace, and it's a connection to your group. Now, when the soul comes to this space, there's a lot that goes on. There's a lot of training, a lot of learning, a lot of discussing what happened, and some of the souls of your soul group may have incarnated with you in your lifetimes or not. They want to know, like, what happened, and they share their perspective. But here, perspective is not dual. Everything is understood and overstood and understood, especially within the group. There is no shame, there's no jealousy, there's none of that. The soul group isn't created like that. There's an awareness and a knowing due to the guides, the teachers, the elders that choose soul groups and guide them. Okay, the guides basically stay with the soul group for what would seem like an eternity, but you know, a human lifetime is so short. So in the spirit realm, so when they, you know, collect back together, they're like, okay, see you when we get back. They get back, and that's when, you know, the souls begin to discuss what happened, you know. But when it comes to the reason why souls don't kind of interact with other soul groups is because they're different in nature, and there's some soul groups that are very ascended, would make them have a very stronger aura, deeper, darker colors. They can be teachers and guides to the baby soul groups. Now, the baby soul groups, these are soul groups. They may not have had a lot of life incarnations, reincarnations, right? But ultimately, the soul wants to experience. The ego is developed through worlds like this, the earth realm, where the soul can come and have a human experience and really, you know, develop their ego. But in the soul realm, like where there's, in the spirit realm, where there's like baby soul groups that haven't had many reincarnations and things, they could be very macho, very arrogant, very witty, but they lack the wisdom, okay, and the knowledge necessary, right? So that's where life is a tool. Life is a tool that helps the soul advance and understand and overstand all of its self, developing itself. There are realms of reality, planets where souls can incarnate that are more mental based. There are planets that are more mental and physical, okay? Where like Earth is a place of suffering, it is a place where there's mental and physical stimulation, and there's a lot of things going on that makes us feel like this 3D is real, because our consciousness is so aware and our physical bodies we're so in tune with. But when it comes to the baby soul groups, they, you know, they want to incarnate. They're ready to jump off the porch, but they need to prepare for that. So this is where the spirit guides come into play. The spirit guides, they can incarnate too if they choose to. It depends on the age of your spirit guide. Some spirit guides, some people have very advanced spirit guides. The spirit guides never leave the soul groups. And if they do, it's because they're having a experience, or they can be fragmented, meaning in one place and another place at the same time. Now, when it comes to the soul group guides, these guides help for many reasons. They have their own unique way to guide a soul when they incarnate in a lifetime. They're very advanced guides. They have had many lifetimes, so they use different techniques to help a soul to make the right decisions, not force them. A guide will never force. A guide uses its techniques that it's been taught how to plant different imagery or different smells or different ways to speak to the soul while they're having awakened life, like maybe whisper in their ear or give them information. The guides have different ways in which they can connect and reach and help the soul on their journey. But before they even incarnate, the soul really makes a really clear decision. Now, baby souls, they want to just jump in bodies. They want to incarnate. They want to reincarnate. They want to get some experiences under their belt. Old souls, they are very patient when it comes to the life that they choose to incarnate in, because they've done that so many times. So they're very cautious with the way that they just jump in and spring into wanting to reincarnate. And everything's very planned out, very thought out. Now, a young soul, baby soul, will be more inclined to wanting to experience life for all it's worth. And their guides, are there to guide them, not to force them. But the more advanced souls, they're very particular in the timing that they are incarnated, what age, right? We're in the age of Aquarius, or what years. These souls are very patient, and they may wait 200, 300 years to reincarnate, but they can do that. And the ones that opt out early, souls that just, are young souls, they have to come back quicker. There's not a long growth period that they wait, right, to come back. So when it comes to the guides, these are very special souls, because what they do is they help. They don't even have to say much. Their auras are very unique, and you could have a very mythical type of spirit guide. Spirit guides are not always what one would see as human form. Like, think of a Yoda or something, right? Think of a fairy or something, where like a gnome, or think of something very mystical, a giant or a dragon. Spirit guides. So this is where it gets kind of fantasy, but you gotta understand that there are different spirit guides. There's different realms where the beings do not look like humans too. But anyways, I'm getting too far into different realities. But when it comes to the soul guides' purpose, and what they do is they have very strategic, creative ways to help the soul stay on track. Let's say, okay, so there's souls that basically can have experiences in the creation realms, and these are souls that create different solids using different minerals from the periodic table, right? Or different minerals and elements that they're given. There are souls that can incarnate in the creation worlds that develop and create rocks, plants, even many terrestrial bodies, many little earths with little beings on it, or little living organisms on it. There are souls that are the creator souls. They're the grid makers, okay? They're the blueprinters. I've talked about them before. In order to do this, they have to get training. So souls don't just work as incarnating here on earth. Like, no, this is just a place that people choose to come to get experiences and overcome lessons and to forget, and this feels real to them. To a baby soul, it feels so real. To an old soul, they feel like, I'm here again? Oh my God. What in the hell am I doing here again? Like, I remember now. Oh, okay. It's like a big show. Okay? All of us are characters. You gonna play my mom. You gonna play my sister. You gonna play my boyfriend. Let's lights, camera, action, right? But souls don't only, there's other things souls do. Like, there's souls that are in the creation schools, and these creation schools are what can create a lot of the things we see here. They can replicate a lot of the things, like trees and different solid elemental properties that they bring together and fuse together, like alchemy. I'm not sure if you've seen Till Swan's video when she first comes on. It's like a little character there, and this was a perfect image of how the souls infuse different elements to create solids. If you look on Till Swan's video where it's that hum, and it's like the little avatar moving these different groups of energy together and like creating something, that is a form of alchemy. That is what is taught in these creation schools, and students can learn how to create things from as little as a little grain of salt, using different, oxygen and different elements from the periodic table, right? From solids to gases to liquids, even forming and creating things like water and all this type of stuff, right? Lava, even to creating a full being, okay? These are very advanced. Now, this is where people get the understanding of the Anunnakis and things like that. Beings that basically utilizing their knowledge were able to create using the humanoids that were here already. Okay, I might as well just say it. The humanoids that were here, like the Homo sapiens, right? There were beings that were like cavemen, like that were not intelligent. They didn't have the consciousness awareness, and there's beings more advanced with consciousness awareness, very evolved creator energies that can infuse what they have, right? Using cells, using DNA. So it's a very advanced form of creation. There are souls that are in creation schools that are just now learning how to form rocks, okay? Then there's souls in creation schools that are actually able to, but they always have an original. There's the original, and then there's the prototype, okay? Do souls get the prototypes right? No. Sometimes the stuff looks crazy. The trees don't look right, and they can dismantle and destroy what they created. But when it comes to these more advanced beings that have the ability to infuse different cellular forms and kind of like slicing the cells and infusing them with other cells, they can literally recreate from what is original, right? The original caveman like people, and moving in towards the Homo sapiens, and actually developing human beings, okay? Human beings that are able to do things on a very conscious level, right? In ancient times, it was very 3D, where now these human beings are evolved into being like tapped into higher frequencies, higher dimensions, right? They're actually able to ascend out. And so I know that went way off, but anyways, so there's a lot of the souls can do so much, okay? Souls can they can incarnate here and learn and go through experiences with their soul group, like, hey, let's go. Okay, so this gets into the kind of characteristics of the soul groups, and then I'll move into the androgyny, and then I'll be done. So your soul groups are like your best friends. It's not like a jealous lover or something like that. Even though you guys can choose those roles. But yeah, the soul groups, they work together. They love each other. They've had a lot of memories together. There's not new soul group members. Like, you don't just bounce around into different soul groups. No, you stick with your tribe. And it's a reason in that, because you guys have the same guides. You guys have been working together There may be some guides that take more to one soul over the other, but that's just because of the work that they're showing. You know, some souls they do a lot of work and they're doing a lot of great things to where they become very like favored in a sense where they can have more freedom. Whereas some guides have to stick closer to certain souls because there are certain things that life experiences have not really allowed them to learn. Like there are certain things like learning to love yourself, or learning to know that you're always connected even when you feel disconnected. So there are certain things, or being too kind to people, being taken advantage of, things of that nature. Because yeah, being a good person is great, but when it's not serving your soul's evolution, your soul may desire to come with a very with a role to play where you are standing up for yourself, and your soul group member may agree to come in as the person that you stand up to, because you're all playing your roles out together to help each other. Now, you could see someone over in the other soul groups, like you know, we'll make an agreement or a pact to, you know, learn from each other, but usually your soul group decides to teach you how to stand up for yourself, how to be tough, how to love yourself, or whatever, how to be a better communicator, or how to do anything better. The soul groups and the way that they create their contracts is not just, you would think that they would just be like always supportive, right? No, sometimes the soul group members will be your enemy, you know, and you know, you'll love hate person. Like, you love them, but then you guys just couldn't get it right, but it probably wasn't meant to be. They probably were the ones here to help you to find out that aspect of yourself. But usually it's done out of love. It never really gets to a point where these people want to hurt you, harm you, or destroy you. Now, other soul group members, y'all might clash, like, but I mean, not other soul group members, but from other soul clusters, you know, you may be like, y'all may get into it. But yeah, there's some soul groups that are, their key to their dynamic unity is, you know, they could be extremely gifted spiritually, being able to use alchemy and things of that nature. These are people who incarnate and they stick together, you know, and they do a lot of spiritual or soul work. There's some groups that may be very charismatic and wanting to advance in society and be world leaders and things like that. And these all are soul groups, you know, they're evolving over time together. There are soul groups that are very adventurous and wanting to seek thrill of life, the thrills of life, okay? And they play it out differently. Every soul group member is their own unique characteristics, okay, that make and mold them, okay? Each individual soul has their own unique personalities, but ultimately their dynamic signature, their energy signature as a soul group will be something that they're very, very known for, or that they, you know, they do well when they do incarnate or reincarnate. Now let's talk about this androgynous energy. There are souls that switch their gender. You know, each lifetime you're not always a male or always a female. And there may be some that you are very, that some souls are used to being. And so these souls that incarnate and don't feel like they're in the right body, that can be due to that. They may have really wanted to be the certain gender that they're used to, or that they play out really well from their soul group's perspective. They usually always come in as a male or always come in as a woman, but there are certain lessons that the feminine energy can teach a masculine dominant soul group member. There's a masculine energies that can teach a dominant female energy thing. So this is why, you know, these souls sometimes come and they're really upset. They're really confused because remember, we forget what we agreed to. If you're used to dominating and, you know, going after and soughting for things, masculine energy, and you come as a woman, this can make you have that type of energy. And this is why, you know, I think that the world is trying to normalize or really put a lot of energy into the whole gay and LGBTQ and stuff like that. And I mean, it has its purpose, but gender, there's only two genders, and then there are some souls that can be literally both genders. That's why there's people born as hermaphrodite. When in higher realms, there are higher beings that are literally both. They can come as masculine energy or come as feminine energy. It's the higher in consciousness your awareness becomes, you realize that gender is when it is very dense, it's very dual, it's very black or white, male or female. There's characteristics of feminine energy, there's characteristics of masculine energy. It goes into the divine masculine, the divine feminine. A higher soul doesn't need to be in one sex or one gender in order to be happy or to experience things or to feel like they're fitting into things, or to or because they're more comfortable. Maybe you've chosen to spend many lifetimes as a female. I know how I have. A lot of my past lives are feminine, so I know that's what I feel very comfortable with. But there's a higher, you know, aspect of mine that is both. Okay? Androgynous energy. I think I probably explained that kind of, okay? Now, the androgynous people that have been incarnated here, like Prince, Michael Jackson, and the list goes on. Like what's the guy in the Dennis Rodman? There's a lot of androgynous people. Now, when I say androgynous, I'm not talking about you are like bisexual. Usually these people they come as a man, but they're in tune with their feminine and masculine qualities. Or they come as a woman and they're in tune with their feminine and masculine. They're not overly doing one or underdoing another. No, they're very in tune with that aspect of themselves because their higher soul is androgynous. And some higher souls can be. We are just a percentage of we are only a percentage of our higher self. So we may think we know everything about life there is to know about ourselves, but we only know what we tap into and what we remember. So ultimately, and what we can see, the cues and the different things that we agreed to help us remember before we came here, that's just a fraction of, you know, who we truly are on a soul level. Because the soul groups, when we all reconnect, we are honest with ourselves. We are like, I was too kind in that life, or I was too aggressive. You know, we're honest with ourselves. We come here and forget. When we go there, we remember, we know. But yeah, so ultimately, me personally, as an ascendant one, I resonate more with the feminine energy, but I can be very androgynous at times, mentally, not physically. Like, I don't show the masculine energy in me, but my mindset, my consciousness is very dual. It is masculine and feminine. And yeah, so I hope that people can get some insight on this information. This video is long, but I don't think that I did that like well, really breaking everything down. I think it's just so hot where I'm from. Where I'm at right now, where I live. It's just a hot day, and it just, you know, I don't know. I just don't feel the, you know, ability to just go in deep. But I know that a lot of people are not ready for this information. I'm going to talk about it anyways. That's what my channel is for. And so I hope that you're able to take something from this video and ask me any questions you would like. I'm going to be making more videos about these really interesting topics, phenomena, and things of that nature, because when I do reach 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to begin to go live for only Q&As. I don't want to do like my, you know, I rather like edit my videos because I be talking forever. So when I do get, you know, that certain subscription level, then I will begin to do question and answers on metaphysical science, on astrology, on all of these kind of conversations, right? Soul groups, reincarnation, whatever a person really wants to have understanding of them based on, to the best of my abilities, I will bring forth that information to you all. But yeah, so thank you so much for tuning in, and